Governor Gavin Newsom's nefarious plan to make Trump's last 2 years worthless is exposed. Former FBI Director James Comey exposed for leaking information to the press to make himself look good and Trump look bad. Plus, Adam Schiff could spend 20 years in jail and be fined $250,000 per Russian lie, says former U.S. attorney. Thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. Let's jump right into the news. Doge discovered all the fraud in Social Security. They discovered all the wasteful money spent on contracts. They discovered all the federal employees collecting paychecks but not working. They discovered USAID was a Democrat slush fund to enrich politicians' families and friends, flood the country with illegal immigrants, and rig American elections. Well, now we're finding out that there are thousands of other NGOs still receiving money. And Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee tells us exactly why these kind of shenanigans are still going on. Check this out.
What's the deal with those dadgum NGOs? Non-government organizations. They get a heck of a lot of your money, though. And here's how it works. They're not non-government because you and I fund it. We borrow the money to send to them. Afghanistan, for instance, where we had the bill to defund the Taliban. It's in the Senate now, and the other side, oh man, they pitched a fit when we added NGOs. We're cutting them off because here's what happens. You got these billionaires who hate our guts, want to destroy everything we stand for. They'll put $1 million in some group that has some fancy name, Feed the Children. I don't know, maybe that's not an accurate one, but anyway, you get the picture. And so they'll put $1 million in there, which is nothing to them, pennies on their dollars. And so they apply for this federal money, and then the unelected bureaucrat in Washington says, oh, they got $1 million, and they're legit. And so then they literally have put billions upon billions of dollars in these things. Afghanistan alone, over 1,000 non-government organizations are working out there. And you add the UN stuff, and we think it could be multiples of thousands of organizations working out of there, all this bogus stuff. I mean, do you really believe we're spending $10 million on a dadgum drag show? Where's the money go? Right back in the pockets of politicians, probably some in Washington. So there's a paper trail. Somebody's going to find out about it, but we know it probably goes into dark money campaigns, fighting good Republicans as well. And anyway, it's got to stop.
Thousands of NGOs discovered working in Afghanistan and other places that we're not even involved. We're not even at war anymore. And they take in billions and billions of dollars. And he says, why is this allowed to happen? Because the money makes its way back to the politicians. So disgusting. Well, I've been covering the Texas redistricting drama over the past week for you. Now, Gavin Newsom says Trump has crossed a line and he will redistrict all of California to make up for the 5 lost seats. However, Steve Hilton, who is running for governor of California, says it's actually more nefarious than that. Let's go ahead and listen to this together because I think you'll find it fascinating.
Oh, yes. I announced it this week, Trace, in Sacramento, but just a couple of points of context. Number one, the Democrats in California already have the largest cache of stolen seats because of the gerrymandering they've already done. If we had fair representation in California, Republicans would have an extra 12 House seats today. But we don't, and he wants to make it worse. And why does he want to make it worse? In his own words, to end the Trump presidency. He wants to overturn the result of the last election, flip the House, impeach President Trump. I'm not going to let it happen. This week, I announced a lawsuit that I will file in state court and in federal court because Gavin Newsom's scheme to steal another 6 House seats violates the California state constitution's equal protection clause, as well as the federal constitutions. And I'm going to make sure, one way or another, that we stop this absolutely outrageous power grab.
All right. So did you hear that? So this isn't just about seats. This is about getting enough seats in Congress so that they can take back the House, and then they will immediately seek to impeach President Trump. So they're basically admitting that they're going to steal the election Why? So that they can make Trump a lame duck president. Now, I doubt that would happen. He would probably end up using even more executive orders than he's had to. All right, this is big. In an interview on Fox News with Sean Hannity, journalist John Solomon revealed documents claiming former FBI Director James Comey used a Columbia University law professor to secretly leak classified information on his behalf to the New York Times. According to the documents, the professor told FBI agents he regularly spoke on Comey's behalf to counter negative stories. After meeting with Comey and receiving classified details, this professor would then reach out to the New York Times, who then published what appeared to be leaked material. John Solomon pointed out the professor's evasive denial, likening it to Bill Clinton, and accused Comey of sidestepping FBI press rules to polish his own image while damaging Donald Trump's image. Let me go ahead and bring this up on the screen.
This is a very long piece that you have here.
Yeah.
It is a worthwhile read. I'll let you sum it up, and then I want your conclusion on what you're finding here, because to me it's very damning.
Well, what you find out is that James Comey decided not to work through the FBI press office when he wanted to change the narrative in Washington, burnish his reputation against attacks from Democrats, and try to sully Donald Trump's reputation. If you remember, Democrats were mad that James Comey let out of the bag just before the election that there might be some new evidence in the Hillary Clinton email scandal. Hillary blamed Comey for throwing the election. She blamed the Russians for throwing the election. She blamed everybody but herself for throwing the election for her. But Comey was trying to rehabilitate that. And so he had an intermediary, a Columbia law professor by the name of Daniel Richman, who the FBI confirmed and interviewed. And Richman said, yes, I used my relationship with a New York Times reporter named Michael Schmidt. He's one of the authors of the Pulitzer Prize winning package that President Trump is now suing over. And my goal was to improve negative stories about James Comey and to set a narrative, i.e. set the Russia collusion narrative. This guy worked around the official channels of the FBI press office. And at one point, the FBI noted, you met with James Comey. He gave you access to classified information. A short while later, you had a conversation with that New York Times reporter, and he ends up reporting something that appears to be classified. Did you do it? And he gives, I think, perhaps the most famous denial people will remember, since Bill Clinton says it depends what the meaning of the word is when he tried to obfuscate whether he had an affair with Monica Lewinsky. He says, I can say, I don't think I confirmed the information. I can say with a discount that I didn't give him the classified information. With a discount means you got to give me some room. It's an extraordinary moment. The FBI clearly had strong suspicions that this was a potential backdoor for information, maybe classified information, to get out to the media with James Comey's fingerprints on it. And they didn't go much further. They didn't put Comey before the grand jury, that we can tell. They didn't appear to put this gentleman, Daniel Richman, before the grand jury. And like Adam Schiff, as we told you last night, here they have an eyewitness whistleblower said, I was in the room when he authorized leaks of intel. These end up being a dead end again. And it's another reminder of a dual system of justice that the Justice Department had the last 6 years. These are documents that were never given to Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan confirmed that to me today. And we're just learning 8 years later, because of what Kash Patel turned over, that the FBI had all the evidence of how the false narrative of Russia collusion was spread across this country to the detriment of voters, to the detriment of President Trump's first campaign, and they did nothing about it.
It's a credit to the FBI. It's a credit to Kash Patel. It's a credit to the people that are involved in sharing this information now with the public. Do you see legal jeopardy here?
I think if Pam Bondi goes the grand jury route, that these are people that are going to be hauled before the grand jury. I want to remind people, most classified information statutes have a 5-year statute of limitations, but there is a provision that extends it to 10 years if it's willing and knowing. And there's some pretty clear evidence of a strong apparatus put in place to make these leaks occur, according to the FBI documents. I think a grand jury could go back and try to compel testimony and find out if it rises to the level of criminality. Tomorrow, though, I think we're going to take people on a new destination, which is, how often did the FBI get blocked in trying to investigate Hillary Clinton corruption at the Clinton Foundation? You're going to be shocked by the answer.
They are going to extend the statute of limitation from 5 years to 10 years This is huge. This is going to absolutely change everything. I think James Comey shouldn't have been writing 8647 in rocks. He should have been 86ing his own position, right? Like, this dude is in big, big trouble. You know, I want to say that I feel bad for him, but I don't. He betrayed the American people. All right, now even more is coming out about Congressman Adam Schiff and his political ambitions, which drove him to destroy Donald Trump and humiliate the Trump children. Now, many Republicans are calling on Adam Schiff to resign. Let me bring this up to the screen because this is really good information.
All right, did you hear about this? A Democrat whistleblower has told the FBI that then Congressman Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information in order to discredit President Trump, and the White House is giving its first reaction.
The president has already said he wants to see Adam Schiff held accountable for the countless lies he told the American people in relation to the Russiagate scandal. I have a quote from the FBI director. For years, certain officials used their positions to selectively leak classified information to shape political narratives. It was all done with one purpose: to weaponize intelligence and law enforcement for political gain. Those abuses eroded public trust in our institutions. The FBI will now lead the charge with our partners at DOJ and Congress.
Iowa Congresswoman Mariannette Miller-Meeks joins me now to react. Congresswoman, good morning to you. If true, how serious of an offense is this, and what can be done?
Well, it certainly is very serious, and Shifty Adam Schiff is justifying his name that he was given. Leaking classified information, as you know, is a serious offense, and it will be up to the Oversight Committee, Judiciary Committee, in order to handle this. But this is a very serious allegation. I've asked for Senator Schiff to resign. He should resign immediately.
Well, a Democrat staffer is the whistleblower. He was a Democrat staffer on the House Intel Committee for 12 years. And on top of claiming that Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information, this person also said Ranking Member Schiff was particularly upset as he had believed he would have been appointed as the director of the CIA had candidate Hillary Clinton won the election. What do you make of those details?
Well, remember that we were upset with Adam Schiff being put on Intel and kept on Intel. We thought he should have left Intel, been off of Intel when this was suspected earlier before, when also suspected that he was lying about classified information. So this is a serious charge. He needs to be held accountable, but people need to call for his resignation. And I think members of Congress, at least on the Republican side, are asking for him to step down.
How will the investigation into this play out?
I think what you'll see is even though we are on our August work period in our districts, you'll start to see that Judiciary and the Oversight Committee will start making, proposals that he be brought in to give testimony in front of the House, to be a witness. They'll start investigations, and there may issue subpoenas. They may wait until we're back in, but those plans are ongoing now.
Okay, well, a spokesperson for Adam Schiff responded to Fox News Digital saying Kash Patel's latest smear against Senator Schiff is absolutely and categorically false and is just the latest in a series of defamatory attacks from the president and his allies meant to distract from their plummeting poll numbers in the Epstein Files scandal. These baseless smears are based on allegations that were found to be not reliable, not credible, and unsubstantiated from a disgruntled former staffer who was fired by the House Intelligence Committee for cause in early 2017. Your reaction to that statement from the Schiff camp?
Again, he's living up to his name. He's trying to deflect blame and attention from him and from his actions. This was people already suspected him of both lying about classified information and leaking classified information. You now have a whistleblower. We didn't have to change the whistleblower law like they did with President Trump and the Russian collusion hoax. But these are serious allegations.
Right. These are serious allegations. He will be held accountable. So this congresswoman said Congress is in recess, but behind the scenes, they're already working and talking to each other about how to remove Adam Schiff and force him to testify in front of the Intel Committee as well as the Judiciary Committee. So I believe once summer break is over, we're going to see fireworks in Washington, D.C. regarding Adam Schiff and others, and I'm just so excited about it. All right, let me tell you about today's video sponsor. I just found something wild about stem cells. They're like tiny repair crews in your body, and they go fix things that need to be fixed. Joe Rogan has been talking about these for years. Check this out.
I had a full-length rotator cuff tear, and the UFC gave me a doctor in Los Angeles, and he looks at my MRI and goes, "You're going to need surgery." I go, 100%? He goes, "I don't know how you're using it now. It's a matter of time. You're going to need surgery, so it might be better to do it now." So I got it shot up with stem cells. And this was the early days of stem cells in America where you could get away with more. You got to go to Mexico.
Most stem cell therapies are illegal in the United States, not because they're unsafe or don't work, but because they work too well, which threatens big pharma. If you could heal your knee, fix your back, or recover from surgery without pills or insurance, what happens to their profits? The FDA has blocked these treatments, forcing people to go overseas. It's expensive, unregulated, and out of reach of most people. One placenta stem injection can cost tens of thousands of dollars. But with high flavanol cocoa, there is a way to support your own stem cell activity. Check out Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee talking about stem cells.
So studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's in your skin, they'll fix it.
That's right, dark chocolate. But flavanols are the good stuff found in cocoa beans, and they're usually destroyed during the chocolate making process. But Black Forest Supplements has created the first ever high flavanol cocoa powder. This isn't regular cocoa, it's stem cell fuel. No sugar, 20 calories. You can mix it into coffee, shake, whatever you want. It tastes great. And for the next 48 hours, you're going to get 40% off. I'll put a link in the comments and the pinned comment down below. Go check it out right now. Okay, YouTuber Benny Johnson has just done an incredible interview with a former U.S. attorney. He says that Adam Schiff is in bigger trouble than most of us understand. He could spend decades in jail and be fined $250,000 for every lie that he told. Let's go ahead and watch this. It's fascinating.
Every American would say, yeah, absolutely, you shouldn't leak classified information. We don't want that to be something that you can do or get away with. Or if there's a temptation to do that and get paid for it, then the penalties should be very severe. So can you talk me through, like, what would the penalties look like for an average individual leaking classified information?
Yeah, I mean, the fine is up to $250,000 for every leak that's charged. So it depends on the counts in the indictment. Also, keep in mind, some of the punishment hinges on the purpose that the classified leak or the possession of classified documentation illegally. So the purpose becomes very important. If you'll recall, Comey, when he said no prosecutor would prosecute Hillary Clinton for having classified information, I mean, it was just an outright lie. But there was always this question, this debate. What was the purpose of it? Was it just sloppiness? Same with Joe Biden. Was it sloppiness that he had all of these, that he used the classified documents to write his memoirs? Was there anything truly nefarious about it? And there was some analysis of Donald Trump. But with President Trump, it was just, you had him, we're going to go after you because that's how we're going to apply the law. But in reality, you have to look at the purpose to see whether or not there are aggravating factors. Here, I believe this was, in essence, the beginning of a conspiracy to take down a president, to impact his ability to leave. There are other statutes, conspiracy statutes, interference with, official proceedings, et cetera. There's question. A lot of people have question about treason. Is it treason? You probably don't satisfy the elements for treason, but there are some related crimes that could come into play. And if you found that the individual was doing it in an effort to undermine the United States, you're looking at potential penalties of up to 20 years in federal prison.
What a grand jury believes when Congress is back in session. In international news, Mexico has extradited 26 alleged cartel members to the United States for prosecution under an ongoing agreement with the Trump administration. One of these figures is drug lord Rafael Caro Quintero. The latest group features top leaders such as Abigail Gonzalez Valencia of the Los Quines organization, which funds the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. His brother, Jose Gonzalez Valencia, previously sentenced to 30 years for cocaine trafficking. Roberto Salazar, linked to a 2008 murder of a Los Angeles sheriff deputy, and Abdul Karim Kate, accused of migrant smuggling, facing charges of murder, hostage taking, human smuggling, and kidnapping. The extradition comes as part of the U.S. agreement not to seek the death penalty. So Trump said, these people committed crimes against Americans. Mexico, I want them brought to America to face justice. Attorney General Pam Bondi called it a historic effort to dismantle cartels, highlighting cooperation with Mexico to strengthen border security and reduce drug trafficking. Ambassador Ronald Johnson added that the move makes both countries safer. CJNG was designated a foreign terrorist organization, and a $15 million bounty has been placed on the leader, El Mencho. So that's a huge, huge deal on our southern border. Turning to developments involving Russia, the United States, and Ukraine, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt outlined the goals of President Trump's upcoming meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska. The main objective is to address and possibly resolve the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Carolyn Leavitt stressed the importance of in-person talks, saying, I think the President of the United States getting in the room with the President of Russia, sitting face-to-face rather than over the telephone, will give the President the best indication of how to end this war and where it is headed. Putin requested the bilateral talks, and Trump's plan to assess how to bring this to a quick resolution led him to inviting him to Alaska. And President Trump says he hopes to make a deal. He said in the future, he would like Zelensky and Putin to be in the same room. The location carries historic significance as the United States purchased Alaska from Russia back in 1867. The trip marks Trump's first visit to the state since the 2024 election, Putin's inaugural visit to Alaska. Now, President Zelensky of Ukraine says he doesn't care what these two men talk about because he won't go along with anything that doesn't give Ukraine back every part of Ukraine. Well, that's pie in the sky, but we'll see what happens. I could see new parts taken during the war returned or neutralized, but if Zelensky is holding out for Crimea, he's going to be holding out forever because Russia will never give in and never give Crimea back. All right, that's my update for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 3 million amazing truth seekers. I love you guys. Stay amazing, and I will see you on the next video.